Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Today's economic climate has more businesses scrutinizing spending where they can. We see this in the massive layoffs across the technology market and more companies showing below market earnings. Enterprises are looking in detail at the software that their employees use to see where they can find savings. So as a software vendor, how do you keep your solution off the chopping block? Joining me to discuss, we have Vineet Jain, CEO of Egnyte. He has a few ideas, a Silicon Valley cloud technology market veteran. Vineet, it's great to meet with you. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you, Jill. Nice to meet you as well.
You got it. And many are reporting today that it will be a challenging year for technology companies, particularly startups. Do you believe this to be true? How have you seen Silicon Valley evolve over the last few years?
I've been here for 30 years, ever since I landed in the US, and I've seen all kinds of cycles, boom and bust. This is not any different. I think the core value principles still apply. How critical is your product in terms of, is it a must-have or is it a nice-to-have? Does it provide end-user experience where end users simply cannot do without it? And then finally, how well and efficiently are you running the company, where you're looking at fiscal prudence as one of the underlying bedrocks of how you run a company?
What makes a technology or software vendor a must-have today for businesses? What are you hearing from customers?
There is a constant refrain that if you have anything related to cybersecurity, that's a must-have, which I believe is true, but it's a little bit too diametrically opposite in terms of you also have to look at the end user happiness. Are they satisfied using your product? Are you solving a critical problem where they get more and more efficiency gains with the least amount of people everyone's trying to work with these days? So cybersecurity, of course, is one, but the other is end user productivity, end user experience, to me, is as critical.
What can technology businesses do to keep customers happy and adoption high? And how important is that to the bottom line?
Right now, while there's so much focus, especially in a software as a SaaS business, where we talk about ARR, annual recurring revenue, or MRR, monthly recurring revenue, it's as much as about you pouring from the top in terms of new business, but equally importantly, managing and maintaining your install base. So that is managing your churn to be within reasonable limits, managing downsells to be as low as possible. So there's a huge and inordinate focus on the install base beyond just acquiring new business.
And with a challenging and dynamic economic environment, and of course, with your experiences through market cycles, what's Egnyte's secret to continuing to grow in product offerings, customers, and earnings? And what advice can you pass on to other companies who are in the thick of it now?
This sounds like I'm being too preachy here, but focus on value and not valuation. That's always the way I've suggested people that they should try to build a company for the long term. A unicorn, decacorn, whatever, those fads will come and go. But the most important thing in my mind is, as capital is getting more expensive with the increased interest rate, fiscal prudence. Do you have a path to profitability? Obviously, it has to be on what stage of the growth curve are you on, but ultimately you have to show you're a sustainable business.
And Vineet, to wrap up here, where does Egnyte fit into the ecosystem?
Could you clarify that question?
Where does Egnyte fit into the ecosystem in terms of technology and how you're advising companies? What does Egnyte do?
Oh, sure. So we provide a platform specifically focused on the mid-market, where we today have 28,000 customers, where we are focusing on two value propositions, i.e., it's all about unstructured content. How easily can you get your job done, i.e. value maximization, while simultaneously you're managing the risk mitigation or risk reduction as you're leveraging more and more data in the cloud. So we become the foundational system for any of these companies, including some larger ones like Red Bull, where we are their file serving infrastructure.
All right, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you, Jill.